Hi, welcome.
Hello.
I just want to confirm that everyone can hear me, that the audio is working.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
Alrighty. Where are you from?
Palm Springs.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. So I'm in a Walnut area.
Oh, okay.
Familiar with? So not that far, about an hour and a half.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. Fantastic. All right. And we'll just give it a couple more minutes. Is it Sandy? Is that your name?
Yes, that's my name.
Fantastic. So tell me about your, I see it says realtor. Are you a real estate agent?
I am. I'm with Remax Desert Properties out here in Palm Springs.
Very nice. How long have you been in business?
7 years.
Oh, good. How do you like it so far?
I love it.
Yeah, it is great. Are you on your own or are you part of a team?
I am on my own. Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's good. Very good. Any multifamily that you're currently maybe considering to purchase, or you're looking to do something? What are your plans on that?
I am looking, I see a lot of like old, I mean, rundown buildings that might need, you know, I don't know, like a rehab kind of like, I want to improve my city, so definitely looking into that.
Very good. So are there areas in your city where there are properties that it's like single family residence on bigger lots where you maybe can develop 3, 4, 5 units, 6 units?
Yes, there's also empty lots, exactly. Yeah.
There is. Okay. And are they zoned for multifamily?
They are. Yes.
That's good. Okay. So that's definitely that's a good way. That's a good start if you're staying a local. I'll share with you as soon as we start my situation and pretty much what happened to me. I'm out of state, so I have multifamily, but it's out of state.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I've had a couple technical issues the last couple of weeks with my computer, and I usually have a pretty good group, and I've missed them because I mean the so last week for some reason my computer went into oh gosh, what do you call it when it's re like
Rebooting,
like
like updating.
updating, and it started updating on its own like around 10 a.m. and around 2 o'clock it was 50% done. And
Oh no.
yeah, I'm like, how can this be? And it was like there was just no way around it. I couldn't even get on there's nothing I could do. And then the previous week I had I was out of town and I had someone else come like join do the call, and they didn't, it was a mess. They didn't have the login. It just got all messy. And so people have been like 2 weeks, they didn't get to, they were like trying to get in. I was getting emails. There's nothing I could do at that moment. And so they're it didn't, it just didn't work out. But hopefully they all come back and we can get this going. But if not, it'll just be you and I, and that's okay. That's good.
Okay, well, yes. I mean, I'm here to learn things, so.
All right. Perfect. All right, so let's let me just get this started. If they come in, we can continue going. Oh, there we go. I need a couple more. All right, so pretty much I'm an investor and a real estate broker. I've been in business for about 24 years. And really my goal for doing this event every week is to share um, share with everyone the details of, you know, what, and pretty much the steps that I took to purchase my first multifamily deal. And hope
Okay.
that you guys can also do the same thing. And I am not selling anything or offering anyone anything. I'm for sure not a financial advisor as well. I'm just sharing my story with you in hopes that you guys can also use this platform to share information, you know, things that you're possibly experiencing or that you're coming across with others on this call as well. So just kind of, you know, another little group here where you can come and, you know, if you've got questions, that this is the platform where we can share that and do that together. A little background on about me. I started in the mortgage industry in the mid 90s or early 90s. And I have purchased year to date over 100 properties throughout my career. In 2001, I did build a 150 capacity restaurant, and we had managers, chefs, servers. And in the last 10 years, I have focused 100% on residential and commercial real estate. I purchased my first multifamily deals, which was 34 units in Texas in 2010. And really at that time, my family goal, like our goal was, you know, we're looking for a way to create cash flow and generational wealth. We were done with just, you know, rehabbing and flipping, because that becomes, you know, you use the money, you spend the money, you use the money, you spend the money, and we kind of were looking for how can we just earn money without actually having to do anything. So how, you know, our question was, how are we going to make our money work for us? And so here are a couple of reasons, a few reasons why we invested in multifamily. And I really hope that this inspires you guys to do the same thing. So number one is we were looking for cash flow. For those of you, and this is just very broad, how you determine your cash flow is your rental income minus all of your expenses, and whatever you're left over with is your cash flow. So we were looking for a way to create that cash flow where we didn't have to actually go out and produce that money on a monthly basis, but it was just coming in on its own. And we did for multifamily. The other reason was the ability to have the loan paid down by your tenants. You know, every month you're collecting whatever it is, $5, $10, $15,000 in rent. You know, your mortgage is getting paid at that same time. And there's the appreciation, right? Where you buy a property and it appreciates over the long run. And I will share with you guys, you know, my true example of what happened to me in the next example. And then tax benefits. For sure, there's these two opportunities that anyone has when you get involved in multifamily, and that's depreciation and a 1031 exchange. So depreciation is that you're able to expense a portion of that physical structure each year on your taxes. And the 1031 exchange allows you to roll over that capital gain tax, and there's no limit. You can do this as many times as you want. You don't have to pay the capital gain taxes on it. Eventually you will, but while you're trying to create capital, it allows you guys to just roll that over. Any questions so far? So here's an example of my property. And the type of property that I bought was 34 units, and it was a value add multifamily. For those of you that aren't sure what a value add is the property there was room in that property for us to rehab, remodel, and increase rents to really be at market and to be at market price or at market rent. So we purchased the property for $850,000. We put a $350 down payment, and the seller actually carried a note for 2 years on the remaining balance of the $500,000. So if you're not too clear on what a note is, it's pretty much that the seller, we negotiated directly with the seller, and we were able, the seller was the bank. He just lent us, right? He was the bank. We gave him $350 down payment, and then we made mortgage payments on the remaining balance, those $500,000. We made payments to the seller for 2 years. This allowed us during those 2 years to remodel and update the units and increase the rents. Now, when we purchased this property was in, it wasn't in good condition. So we were prepared. We knew that we were going to have to come into this property with a good amount of money to start repairing if, you know, we were aggressively looking to increase the property value. And how do you do that is by increasing the rents. Okay. So when we actually, like year 2 that we were done with, and again, we probably did, by the time we refinanced, we were probably at about maybe 50% rehabbed, and the property had already by then in 2 years had increased in value, almost doubled at $1.6 million. So at that time we went out and we got your, you know, traditional loan with, it was a higher balance loan, and we pulled out $1 million loan. So basically we got back our $350,000 plus another, you know, 650, or yeah, I can't do math, but 650. We had a loan for $1 million, and we were at a loan to value of about 65%. And really, and at this day, to this day, we have zero money invested in this property. We pulled out all the money and some money, which we were able to invest in other transactions. And today's value of this property is $2.7 million. So many of you, you know, will look at this and say, you know, maybe that's impossible. It wasn't easy. And I think that maybe we hit a home run, and deals like this are definitely harder to find, but they're out there. So I think that we need to start thinking outside the box. We need to start looking at, you know, just in our own areas, maybe start looking at things that we can maybe grow or make some changes to it to be able to produce, right? I mean, if you can't find multifamily, I was just talking to Sandy, who's on this call, there in her area, there is land, or there are homes on larger lots, which I think is a fantastic and phenomenal way of trying to build multifamily. If you do the research, you can buy these single family homes, and then you can build possibly 2 to 4 or maybe 5, 6 units on that piece of land, and then turn around and sell that. So I'm just saying, you know, the deals are out there. They're not as easy as, you know, we want it to be, but I also think that we need to think outside the box and figure other ways that we can make this work. Any questions from anybody right now, or anyone want to share something along the lines of this? All right, so if you guys have any questions or comments, please just go ahead and unmute yourself and you know, let me know, because this is interactive. It's for all of us to kind of discuss and share ideas. So here's a picture of one of the buildings of my property, and this is the front end of the building. So there's two There's 2 buildings. And this property is in Dallas, Texas. So we did, we've done some paint, like painting doors, trims, inside, interior of the units have been remodeled. And obviously there's always room for more improvements, but we've done new roofs on both buildings. Chiller is brand new. What else? I mean, that's about it. All right, so today we're going to talk about due diligence, and this is really, really important, that as you get involved in the purchase of any property, that as an investor, that you're going to make sure that you're conducting your due diligence on your multifamily apartments. Due diligence is just really the care a reasonable person should take before entering into an agreement or a transaction, right, with another party. And I honestly have learned the importance of due diligence soon after that. I purchased even this property, and again, I've purchased many properties. Due diligence is critical if you want to save yourself headaches and money. So I highly recommend that gets done. So there's 3 types of due diligence. There's a financial, there's a physical, and there's a legal, okay? So as a rule of thumb, you always perform the financial due diligence first. You want to look at their numbers. You want to make sure that it all makes sense before you actually start spending any money on any kind of physical inspections. And if the numbers don't work out, that's it. You don't even have to waste any money or any time on property inspections or any kind of legal work. Okay, and I'll tell you right now that the majority of deals that don't go to closing, it's because of the financial due diligence. So if the numbers aren't there, it just doesn't make sense. Now, I can tell you, if we use this with my example of my purchase, the numbers didn't make sense, right? They were collecting very low rents, and the condition of the property was not up to par. I mean, it needed a lot of work, but we knew that the value that we knew based on when you study the market and you're out looking at different properties and you're comparing rents and condition of those apartments with, or those units with, the property that we were looking to purchase, we knew that there was an opportunity here. It was going to require some additional, money to do those repairs, but we knew that we could definitely bring it up to just market. They were below market. So it did make sense for us to go to that next due diligence step, which is the physical. So you have usually about 30-day due diligence period on smaller properties, and you want to get 45 to 60 days on larger properties. I will tell you right now, the way the market is, they're tightening these due diligence. They're making them a lot shorter. Multifamily, they're giving anywhere from maybe 5 to 7 days for them to do their due diligence, and then their deposit becomes non-refundable. So that's just because of the market right now is so competitive, and people are selling, and those that are selling are also buying. So they need to make sure that whatever buyer comes on board is really going to fall through with this. And how are they going to make it tight is by, opening escrow with a non-refundable deposit within 7 days. So just FYI, if you're looking to buy right now, they are tightening the periods. And the due diligence period begins until you get all your financials. So once you've reviewed all the financial documents and everything looks pretty strong, then you're able to move forward and go to the next step. And also this motivates the seller to turn over and provide all the records in a timely manner so that you guys, so that we, right, if we're buying, we can accurately perform and analyze the property's performance. So, just good stuff to pay attention. So when you're looking to do the analyzing and the purchasing of the property, you want to look at these items. So you want to verify the income. You want to verify all the expenses. You want to calculate net operating income. And if the property meets your criteria, then you can proceed and you write your letter of intent. When you're buying multifamily, you don't automatically write a purchase agreement. It's all done with a letter of intent. Everything is listed on that letter. And then pretty much, you know what, if everybody agrees and everything looks good, you send that letter of intent over, they agree on it. Then once everything's agreed upon, then they fill out, one of the agents will do the purchase agreement and the sale agreement. And that's when, at that point, you begin your physical due diligence on the property. Any questions? I know this is a lot of information.
So I just have a quick question. So you don't get to do the inspection or anything before you actually get that letter of intent?
No, so you basically will do your financial inspection, right? You're going to make sure that the property is producing and that, the numbers make sense. If the numbers make sense, you can take a look at the property. You definitely will go and inspect, not inspect, you'll go and preview the property. So you can take a look at, inside of the units, you can walk around the property, you can look at, the roof, you can look at like the chiller, you can look at the office, you can ask to look at some of the units, you can look. But inspections, any kind of like a physical, like you're going to send an inspector out, it doesn't occur until you actually open escrow. Once you guys have agreed that, okay, it financially makes sense, you draft this letter of intent, everybody agrees, both parties sign that letter of intent. Now we have a purchase agreement that needs to be drawn up. Once that purchase agreement is drawn up, both parties sign, we now go into escrow. That's when your due diligence begins. So now you hire someone that, if you want to hire, you'll hire an inspector. Let me see if my next slide. So you hire an inspector and they'll give you a report. They'll go through everything. And you can hire specific inspectors, like if you actually want someone to inspect your roof, a roofer, right? Like a specialty, someone to inspect the chiller, someone to, just whatever it is that's going to make you feel comfortable. That's when you would do it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And here's a list of problems that can occur during the due diligence phase, where repair costs are larger than what you expected. Or tenancy with low security deposits. Once you're looking at all the paperwork, you notice, what, maybe they don't even have security deposits collected from the tenants, or maybe they're really, really low. You'd be surprised. Some are, you'll find some sellers that are very, very organized and some that may not be organized. Leases may not match, the lease schedules. Maybe you run out of time to do all of this, and maybe the property owner is not cooperative. So, I've come across all of these. I have looked at property where I'm constantly asking for stuff and the property owner isn't cooperative. So I'm you're wondering, like, do they really want to sell, or is there a hidden agenda that we really don't know? So it's like you really have to, I mean, you guys will see as you become more accustomed to maybe searching or looking at these multifamilies or just commercial deals, any of these, that you'll come across stuff like this. So these are problems, right? You can't really continue. You can't work in this way. And so pretty much all of these problems can be addressed with the seller. So let's say that, you know, if you turn, you're able to, there's unseen repairs, right? Like big stuff, like a roof or damaged foundation. And you can go back to the seller and you can ask for a price concession or for them to fix that damage. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do it, but you can always go back and ask. Same thing, like real estate investors refer to these price concessions as retrading, and you want to make sure that you're not labeled as a retrader, because most brokers will be unwilling to work with you, maybe like, you know, in the future if you want to buy something else, because they know that you're going to want to get a property. Let's say you get a property and then you start negotiating to lower the price once you guys have gone into contract. Multifamily is another beast. It really is. And it's a very small, tight niche group of people. And, you know, I guess the lesson here is just to be fair, right? If there's some big unforeseen damages or repairs that need to be done, I think if you go back and if it's all done within reason, there's no reason why a seller wouldn't want to cooperate. If your leases don't match the schedule, then you can either have the owner produce leases or adjust the income according to what the leases show. Remember that this is really important. They may have, you know, they provide documentation, the financial documentation, and it says that they're getting X amount of dollar per unit, right? And they have their leases, but they don't have the leases to show them. How do you confirm that? Right? What do you do? Are you going to just take their word on that piece of paper? I mean, anybody can put any number on the piece of paper. So this is where you either ask for, you know, we want to match those leases. And usually there's estoppels that are done, and that assures you that that tenant has a lease at a certain dollar amount. And if they can't provide it, well, then you have to adjust the sales price of that property, and that's where you can negotiate that. If the property contains poor tenancy, this is also something that should be reflected on the price. So with lower occupancy figures and lower rent collections. Now, as an investor, my number one rule is to buy a property on actual numbers. You don't buy it on pro forma, what it could produce in the future. That's not how you buy a multifamily. You buy it based on what's it producing for you right now. Okay, and this will give you an opportunity that if it's not where it needs to be, that you can go back to the seller and you can try to negotiate these, you know, these numbers and try to reduce the price accordingly. Any questions? I actually have a question for you guys. Has anyone been in the due diligence, in a due diligence period? Like, have you guys been in a situation where there has been possibly, you know, problems like this, where you've gone back, you've tried to negotiate, and then maybe the seller did not cooperate?
Not I personally, but a friend of mine that did happen. Yes.
Okay. So did they continue this? Did they continue with the sale, or did they cancel the sale, the purchase?
No, I advised them to cancel the sale because the seller wasn't forthcoming. There was some other repairs needed to be done, and they discovered it. And going back, the seller didn't want to adjust it. So I told them it wasn't worth it because their repairs would cost more than they intentionally thought, and it would just drive up the price of purchase. So,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good. So, I mean, you guys took the step. Anyone been successful with going back, negotiating, and having the seller cooperate and possibly reduce the price or credit you in any way?
Yes, I have.
You have. Can you share your story, your situation there?
Yes, it was actually a single family home with a fourplex. And it was only showing rents for 3 of the apartments and not for the house or one of the other apartments. And I kept going back and forth and back and forth, and they didn't want to give me information. So I dug a little further, and I just happened to be out when there was neighbors and asked, oh, well, do you know, I'm thinking about purchasing, blah, 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 some kind of out there questions. Well, I come to find out 2 of the owners' family were living 2 of the units rent free.
Oh,
So, yeah. So that was when I told her I know that 2 of her family members were living rent free, and how could they have X amount of dollars, what they were showing, and then I need proof. And if not, I'm reducing my price on on what I'm offering. So eventually she had to give in because she had nothing to show me, which I knew.
good. How much did you save by doing that? So that trip, of due diligence, talking to that neighbor saved you how much?
$55,000.
Oh,
wow.
gosh, that is huge. So that's why the due diligence period is critical. It's critical. This is your moment to really be like, a detective, and to figure it all out. Like, does this make sense? And is there an opportunity, or is there room here for me to be able to save some money? I mean, look at Shirley's case, was $55,000. That's huge. Congratulations. That is amazing. That's great. All right. So that's really good. Anybody else have anything else they want to share? Okay.
It wasn't 55,000, but my son who purchased it was a single family townhouse, and pretty much the fact that he initially, when he was going to send in an inspector, but he and I talked about it. This is down in Houston, Texas. I told him to send in an engineer as well, because the inspector can find certain things, an engineer may find other things, and it resulted in, it was 7,000 to 8,000 that he got back in closing, plus closing costs, because the amount of damage, the amount of things that had to be repaired, they gave back, so that they can complete the deal.
Wow. That's great. And how much money did he spend to actually figure that out, to find that out?
A couple of $100.
Exactly.
The inspector and engineer was a couple $100. So I told him it was worth spending a couple $100 to save, $7,000 to $10,000.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of times, people won't take that extra step, and you're at risk of saving money, right? So you spend an extra $200-300, or maybe you spend a trip out to the property, and you start, talking to other people to find out, to get more information. So that's great. Good news. Congratulations. That really is great. So yeah. So if you guys run out of time, you guys are at risk of also losing your down payment. And now this is while you're in escrow, you're doing your due diligence. So it's important that, you make sure you work accordingly, and you can always ask for an extension during that time before you actually close the deal. It's sometimes difficult to deal with uncooperative sellers, and it may be a pain in the butt, but here's what I always say, you know, and you are going to find that there are sellers that don't have their stuff in order. They're just a mess. But you got to keep, you know what, you got to have that patience and just kind of keep your eye on the prize. Don't let the stressful part of this due diligence like take over. Look, just when you go into contract, your due diligence period is, I'm going to investigate everything I can on this property and see if there's any way that you know, you can save some money. Okay, so let me I'm gonna unshare my screen here because stop sharing here. So let's talk a little bit. I mean, I know that's a lot of information. I know there's about 4 people on this call, and just wanted to get a little bit of tell me where you guys are at in the purchase of either a multifamily or whether it be 1 to 4 units. Where are you guys at? What are your plans? You know, what can I help you guys with? Vice versa. I think that anything that you guys share on this platform, it'll help all the others that are on this call as well. So if anyone wants to open up with where are you at in the process? What are you looking to buy? Or do you currently own? I'd really appreciate some feedback.
Well, I'll share. I just moved to a new area in a different state. So I guess I'm trying to figure out the best area. I mean, I've done some research, but to find the best rental area for a multifamily, it can be even up to a 4 unit. I'm just looking for something that's a great deal. So
Where are you looking at?
I'm in the Reno area. That's where I'm looking. In
The Reno area?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you just moved out there, you said?
Yeah, I'm new to the area here. I have residency in California also, so I'm over the whole mountain between Sacramento and Reno, but I just got a place here, so because also have my real estate license here, so I'm looking to expand.
Uh-huh.
And I deal with a lot of investors, so I'm also going to be looking for investors over here too, but I wanted to look for something for myself also.
Got it. Okay. Are you again, I don't know Reno, but I was talking with Sandy, and I think some really good opportunities, and I know I have a lot of I would say friends that are in the business that have focused, for example, you know, one particular area, they're buying these single family homes and they're paying top dollars for these single family homes only because they're in prime location and they're on a lot that's big enough that will allow this single family home to become 4, 5, 6 units. I think that that's an incredible niche. If there's an area like that in Reno, and I'm sure there's got to be areas like that all over the place. I think that that would be a fantastic way to create. I mean, I think you'll avoid the competition if you focus on single family homes that can be converted into units.
Actually, that's a great idea because I have a client that I got a lease for here and they do modular homes. So I was thinking of doing something with them. So that's actually a great idea. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that that's a fantastic, I mean, people are doing it, you know, in different areas. There's little niche markets where you can do that. And they're doing incredible. They're doing really, really well. Sandy, I think that that's something that you really should look into in your area as well. I think that you will have great success with that, because isn't that an area where you also find like a lot of people retire?
Yes, a lot of people are retired. I see one realtor buying lots and building duplex all over the place right now.
Okay, see,
So
I'm telling you, we gotta jump on this before, you know, before it becomes super expensive and then we can't even buy it. How much would you say that they're buying this land for?
they're buying them for 80, 90,000 and they're selling the new construction just built. They have, like, I'm looking at it right now for 570.
How many
580?
units? How many
2
units?
units.
So a duplex is going for 570 and they bought the property for 80. So you figure they probably spent, maybe they spent about I don't know, construction cost is high right now. Figure like, would you say about 1,000 square feet each unit?
I'd 1,000 square feet. No, he's looking at 1,300 each unit.
So
3
let's-
bedroom, 2 bath each
Okay,
one.
so that's a good, so you figure, I don't know, I mean, construction cost, when it's new construction, I would say about $150 to $175 a square foot. So let's just say 1,300 square feet times, let's say 175. So that's 227. Let me see, 227.5 times 2 plus 80. That's not, unless it's less that they're spending, that's 535. So at 570. So they're probably getting a deal. I mean, I'm going on the high end there. I don't
Mhm.
know what the construction cost is. I mean, if they're selling it for 570, I mean, they must have paid less for the construction cost. I
Right.
think, you know, if you can get a contractor and you can find the property at, like, I mean, $80,000 seems like a really, really good price for land.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the turnaround time is?
So he has it online. I don't know. It's not stating actually.
If you pull like realist tax,
Uh-huh.
check to see when he closed escrow on it,
On the lot
on the lot. Yeah,
in December
of what year?
2020.
So December of 2020, December, January, February, March, April. So in 4 months, he built the duplex?
No, he's saying it's coming soon. He's still
Oh.
producing it. He's still
Got it.
building it.
Got it. I see. Okay. Okay, that's still really good. You know, I mean, 4 or 5 months. Let's say that it'll take him maybe 7 months. That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's great. You know, and he's doing mainly duplexes.
No, he's doing everything, single family homes, duplex. He's finding those lots all over the place. Mhm.
Yeah, you know,
He must already have his construction company ready.
that's it. That's it. When you hook up to the right contractor, it just makes it a lot easier because you're able, he knows, I mean, and I'm sure they're just repeating the same construction, the same house or architectural design on every house.
Right.
And I'm sure he's using the same colors and the same palette. I mean, he keeps it all consistent. I mean, it's just cheaper. It's easier. He doesn't.
Right. So for me, it's like finding that constructing company, you know?
Well, I can definitely help. My husband's a general contractor, but through him, I could possibly put you in contact with someone out in your area.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yes, I can do that. Let me make a note here, general contractor. Make a note of that. All right, very good. Sophia, what about yourself?
I'm in New York, and I'm looking to break into the Atlanta, Georgia market. I'm looking at duplexes. I've been thinking about getting something, at least for the beginning, something that I would probably live in myself on one side and then rent out the other side, because I'm still very intimidated about, having something larger, like the 34 units you have. So yeah, I'm doing my research, and yeah, that's pretty much where I am.
So when do you plan to head out to Atlanta, Georgia?
Well, I've been visiting. The goal really is to purchase the unit by definitely before the end of this year, like somewhere around October maybe would be ideal. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and what area in Atlanta?
Uh, Metro Atlanta. So that would be the northern part of Atlanta, like Smyrna, Suwannee, um, and yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay. I have a friend that lives in Smyrna. Very nice
Oh,
area.
really?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. I've been having a hard time finding inventory though.
Oh,
There isn't a lot. Yeah.
there isn't. There really is.
Yeah.
It's very tight. And if something pops up, you have to be ready to make the offer
Yeah.
like now. You can't wait. You
Yeah.
can't think about it because by the time you think about it, they have 30 offers on it.
True. I
So,
really like the I really like what you just said about getting a single family on a larger lot and then build some more units. That's something I never really thought about.
yeah, but the thing with that, in order for it to make sense, you have to make sure that the zoning is, it's going to be okay for you to turn that into 4 units or 5 units.
Right.
Because if not, then down the road, if your intention is to make sure that that property becomes 4 or 5 units, and if it's not zoned properly, then there's a chance that you may not be able to sell it for the value, right, that you're expecting it to be.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's definitely something to really think about there. But I can put you in contact with, I've got a great agent that I work with in the Atlanta area. If you're looking for someone aggressive, I've got the person for you.
Oh, awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, definitely.
So if you want to put your info on the chat, or I think I have your info on my email. So I'll send you an email. I'll send you an
Okay.
email, and then we can discuss, and I can put you in contact.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. How about you, William?
Well, as you know, one of the things I've been doing is tighten up, making sure from a company perspective, everything's in place. My partner and I are looking at areas like New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Houston is still there, and actually, Leah, Georgia, and South Carolina. I have friends in different places, and so we're back and forth discussing how they can help and what they can look out for. So things are in the process now, looking at different ideas. I've gotten some upstate property. I just left someone, and we talked about property for about, it was a property that was going for 11 acres, upstate New York. And it is zoned for building multi-units.
Wow.
And so I just left somebody discussing that. So I said I have to send them over the specs. And the property is only going for 250,000.
Where is this?
It's up near Antioch, Indiana.
Where?
Upstate New York, Indiana.
I haven't heard of that. I don't even know.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please send it. I
Yeah.
mean, if anybody else on this call is interested, I can forward that to you guys as well. But send it. That's great. How much do
Yeah,
they
I
want
mean-
for it? 250?
250.
And it's
Yeah.
zoned?
Yeah, it's zoned for multi-unit. There's a cottage on it, and there's a cottage that you can use now livable, and there's another cottage that needs to be torn down. My actually god sister used to live up there, and a good friend, so I called them to see what the area is like, making sure if they've gone up there to check the area out for me. But in terms of the fact that it seemed it's crossed the river, there's a new development being built. And so I just left somebody discussing the possibility, because he was always looking for locally New York, Long Island, but this came up. I sometimes get friends that send me things to look at and consider. So
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, that seems like a great deal. Obviously, you have to do my due diligence and homework on it, but definitely email me the information, and I can email it to, if you ladies on this call are interested, I can definitely send it to you guys.
thank you. I will definitely do that. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
that it's been interesting, but like for instance, New Jersey, I want to, make sure we have the right escrow company, right, putting things in the process. So when things start to happen, I can make sure this systematically is being done.
Right. Right. You have all the logistics and everything in order.
Yes.
Got it. Perfect. Fantastic. Well, I mean, I think that that's great. Send it to me, and if it doesn't work for me, I've got other investors that might be interested in doing something like that. So I like that. Send it over, and we'll go from there. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm here every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. I know the last couple weeks I've had some technical issues, and I don't think that that'll happen. William, I know that you've been on the call a few times, and last week was just horrible. My computer went into updating, or what did I say it was called, Sandy? I forgot.
Update.
Update. Yeah, it was updated like around 10 a.m. and at 2 o'clock it was like 50% done. I couldn't do anything on it wasn't even, we were at 50%. So I was stuck, and there was nothing I can do to get my meeting going. So I apologize for that, but hopefully moving forward, we should be good. So I'm here every Wednesday, 2 p.m. and Pacific time. And if I can be of any assistance, you guys have my email from the Eventbrite. If you can shoot me an email, I will respond back. And also for Sophia and Shirley, or Sandy, I'll get back to you, see if I can refer a general contractor out in your area, and an agent for you, Sophia. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful
Thank
day
you.
and a productive week. And I will see you guys next week.
Yes, indeed.
All
I'll
righty.
talk to you before then.
Yes,
Take care.
absolutely. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.